against the greatest that Greece has ever produced as they fight it out for a place in the final day of action at the Happy Bet European Darts Open. And Daryl Gurney awaits the Northern Irishman, who has been quietly impressive this weekend, put into some serious pressure by both Robbie Green and the number 7 seed Benito van der Pas, and he has come through, I hesitate to say with flying colours, but in a very professional and unfussy manner. And that is probably a good thing, because he finds himself in the last 16 action and he's not really turned it on as yet. If he can do on the final day, then who knows, maybe it could be a first PDC title, first Euro Tour title for Super Chin. But we need to find out who he's facing. It's going to be one of these two. I'm Dan Dawson, and Paul Nicholson alongside me in the commentary box for John Michael versus Mensur Suljovic.
Yeah, you're right, Dan. I think Big Ben just got chinned, and no pun intended, of course, but that was a very good performance. I think that's the perfect way to put it, because we know from experience that Daryl Gurney has more in the tank. But this game here, my favourite walk-on of the weekend so far was John Michael's. Fantastic for me. And this is going to be a quicker player in John Michael against the methodical Mensur.
Yep. There is method, certainly, in what appears to be madness in Mensur's throw, as the gentle takes on the deadly rose, which makes them sound like a couple of 16th century poets rather than 21st century dart players.
First leg, Mensur to throw first.
I do marvel, though, at the fact both guys, look at the carpet. I think they knew that carpet was going to be laid this weekend.
Nicely coordinated.
Absolutely right. It's like Phil Taylor at the World Match Play had
100.
The electric blue and black shirt with the electric blue and black carpet.
So, I hesitate to say these do be camouflaged and still stand out. And that will stand out. What a way to start the match from the deadly rose. Maximum for John Michael, who smashed up Fabian Hertz in the first round. He won it 6-0 against the Copper from Germany, who came through the host nation qualifiers. Admittedly, Fabian had a bit of a mare. But for the first 4 legs, John Michael was averaging 100, played really well, and took his foot off the gas and the average plummeted. He still won it 6-0. But if he plays like that in the early stages against Mensur Suljovic, Mensur may have his hands full.
I think he's definitely got his hands full with John Michael. He's been around a long time. I remember him way back playing at the 2010 European Championships, and I believe he played Phil Taylor there.
2011 ones it was. That was we had the first Greek ever to qualify for a big PDC tournament. But yeah, he did play Phil Taylor in the first round. Took a few legs off him as well.
Back then he wasn't using the darts that he has now, and I don't know about you folks at home, but when I watch John Michael, I have this sound effect in my head of boing. But he has these points that are
100.
flexible, believe it or not. It's almost like a soft tip point, but it's made of steel. It's pliable, and it works. Peter Wright has tried that point in the past at the World Cup and in the World Series.
It was John Michael's darts who inspired him, really. He literally had a look at them on the European Tour, and as Peter Wright does, he sees a new bit of darts equipment and goes, oh, I like that, I'll try that. Immediately discards whatever he's been throwing 104 averages with and moves on to something else.
Yeah, you wouldn't want the American pickers guys to go to Peter Wright's house and say, oh, you've got a little bit of darts equipment, haven't you? I think he must have the most darts equipment outside of a darting manufacturing warehouse. But another person who uses the flexible point is Dieter Hedman.
Yeah. Another person who uses it to great effect as well, as Mensur now looking at 71.
How can you leave double 14 from 71? All right, not to be. It's going to be double 10 for the first leg. That's pretty clinical.
The first leg, Mensur Suljovic.
So he's good at double 10.
Second leg, John to throw first.
How many times is he going to need that segment? If you're having a little wager at home with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your family,
100.
I think a good little game is get a piece of paper and see how many times Mensur hits double 14 in a match.
Well, he does leave it at every available opportunity. There's a marvellous piece of work on social media, the Mensur Suljovic finishing chart, which just
100.
tells you how to leave double 14 in any possible situation. But don't be fooled. This man can hit doubles all over the board. He is
60.
an absolutely phenomenal record over the last couple of years. He has made 11 PDC semi-finals. Yet to make a final, just keeps hitting that barrier and failing to get through. But that includes major semi-finals as well. Grand Prix, plays championship finals. He is a match for all of the big names. Some of them don't like playing because of his pace and, you know, his habit of slowing down,
59.
speeding up and taking his time and kicking his leg out like a donkey on the off-kick. But don't let that mask the quality of the darts he's been
58.
throwing over the last couple of years, because it is quite stunning, the strides he's made.
It's almost like the sun and Mensah Suljovic are the same thing. You can't take your eyes off it, but you shouldn't be watching it. You should have your eyes away from it.
Doing some serious damage.
But we've talked about Mensah's quality throwing over the last couple of years.
57.
It's been around a long time. And it's amazing to say that he hasn't reached a final yet.
That's the weird thing. I mean, you know, he's only really started making big strides. He's always had talent.
125.
But he's only started making big strides, surprise, surprise, when he started coming and playing all the tournaments. I mean, it turns out if you play all the best in the world on a regular basis, it helps you improve your game.
He's almost like the Matt Kuchar of the darting world. He's just a money machine. He always goes to tournaments and picks up
100.
very healthy checks.
You're on your record 158.
But is he the best player right now that hasn't won a European Tour title? Arguably, maybe.
He's certainly got to be considered in the record for the amount of tournaments he's been to and the success he's had. And stat that's been doing the rounds, he's the only guy who's picked up money in every single PDC ranking event this year. I mean, that underlines how consistent he has been.
Here's one for the darting public and yourself, Dan.
You require 58.
I wonder who the best dart player who hasn't won a Pro Tour event in history. But John Michael was going for tops, but that's a wide, folks.
38.
It could be costly as well.
Until you require
There's only
80.
one way to go for 80. No double 14s here, folks, unless he has a wide of his own with the first dart.
Well, Mervyn King would go treble 16 with this.
Yes, he would.
The nut job. Mensah going the conventional route. Conventional Mensah. Oh, lovely.
Mensah
Man,
Suljovic.
give everyone a little wave, Mensah.
Third leg,
Very
Mensah to
clinical
throw
stuff.
first.
It's almost like an
Game on.
apology to John Michael, as if to say, oh, I'm sorry I hit that. Well, Mensah, you shouldn't be sorry. This is a game of darts. It's like boxing. If you hit someone, you don't say sorry afterwards.
170.
Now, 170 to start off with. Mensah has form in this, and in the Super League, he plays
60.
out here in Europe. He followed a 170 with another 170. Oh, I thought we were going to see it for a minute.
Wouldn't that be something? I think if he does that, or if someone does that, we will be
100.
talking about it forever. It won't be a bog standard 9-darter, because if he'd have done it, it would have been the 200th 9-darter in the history of the PDC.
190.
Fair play to John Michael. He's back in the leg with that maximum. But back to what we were talking about. Best player never to win a Pro Tour event.
To win a Pro Tour event, that is a tough one. Whew. You got an answer
60.
in mind?
I've got an answer. I think it's correct. That's why I haven't said it yet. But Wayne Jones.
Well, I tell you what, that's a great
48.
shout. That is a great shout. Wayne Jones.
Might be worth talking to Andy Scott, our contact at the PDPA, and our regular stats guy. How many quarter-finals has Wayne Jones had? I think it's over 70.
Oof.
And not converted it. I know that in 2009 he was in a final with Phil Taylor in Coventry and had 2 darts to win the tournament and
131.
missed. But he didn't get it done. And Phil sneaked at 6-5. But if you've got an answer, folks, please get in touch with us.
Yeah, that's a great question, that is.
100 until you require 40.
No double 14s again. He's on tops and he's already hit this in the leg before.
Mensah Suljovic is not missing very much at the moment. That is a 13-darter. It is 3-0 to Mensah.
And this is how he dispatches opponents. You know, John Michael's played all right so far. He's a dangerous customer. But he's just, all right, get on with it. 3 out of 3 on the doubles.
85.
And I'm 3-0 up.
And it's just that 3-0 run. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 170. 1 He had 2 darts at double top, John Michael, but he pulled the first one into the single one, and that meant he didn't get another go. And that's been his only chance so far. And Mensah with that flat 100 average, 100% in the doubles, which is why the overall average is level 15 darters. But the first 9, he hasn't really got going in the scoring. He hasn't hit 180 yet compared to John Michael's 2.
Yeah, 100 average.
140.
It's going to trouble most people. We haven't seen any huge averages yet, but then again, we haven't had Michael van Gerwen on stage. We haven't had Gary Anderson. They're coming later. Ian White coming on next.
Yeah, Ian White, Devon Peterson coming up, and then Michael Smith, 3-time Euro Tour winner, and a man who's, well, one of those
100.
guys who on the Pro Tour has thrown a 130 plus average. He has a ridiculously high ceiling of ability. When he is on it,
60.
he is very much on it, Michael Smith.
This game is full of ridiculous statistics, and we heard one about cricket earlier on, didn't we? We're talking about the Aussies breaking a world record.
Yes. Managed to play 25 over, 150 odd balls without scoring a run.
140.
Now, it was them desperately trying to defend to save a game. John Michael does not have that option in this. All he can do is attack.
Yeah, he's in 2020 mode at the moment. He's just got to hit that 60 and hit doubles. He's got to give himself chances, though. And he had a chance earlier on, but he did fluff his lines.
Oh, and if Mensah can hit a big one here, then that 131... Oh, it looks massive now, doesn't it? It looks massive.
131.
Well, the way he's hitting that bullseye, it's the size of Jupiter. It really is. He's hitting it every time he goes for it. Now, John Michael is going to set this up, but he's going to have to rely on mistakes from the Austrian.
Mensah, you require 71.
So it'll be treble 17 for double 10 again, you would think.
You'd think so.
Hit it in the first leg, but he's going a different route because he's Mensah. He'll do what he wants. He'll do what he wants. Double 8. Ooh, now. For the first time, Mensah Suljovic just missed
32.
a couple of doubles, and John Michael has a chance to get a foothold in the game. He cannot afford to pass this up.
That's a good guide. It should be anyway.
60.
Hasn't taken advantage of it, and the Greek knows that that was his best chance
8.
of the match so far. I don't think he's coming back to the board. We're about to find out. And there it is. Easy does it for the gentle Mensah Suljovic.
Fifth leg, Mensah.
John Michael can't believe it.
Game on.
He's almost in Mark Frost mode now. Oh, I'm 4-0 down. Maybe I'll relax a little bit and start playing a bit better, but Suljovic is a very hard customer.
Yeah, he certainly is. John Michael. It's difficult to win games. You're going to pass up those opportunities anyway, let alone when you're already 3-0 down. Mensah Suljovic will just carry on grinding away. He's averaging just shy of 99. It's a solid level of performance from Mensah, and he did play well in the match play as well. He came through his opening round with a very solid, again, a 99 average over a longer format. That's just the kind of darts that he's playing nowadays. You expect Mensah to be throwing that sort of stuff when he gets up there.
And that's why he's picking up money and ranking points and playing well in the European Tour, because that 99 average game is very hard to beat. Well, this is better than 99. It's a full house.
192.
And the big call from George Puppy Noble.
100.
Another man who feels like we've known him forever. I wonder how many 180s he's called in his life. Thousands upon thousands.
Even more than quarterfinals Wayne Jones has had, I would wager. Just needs to find a treble to really apply some pressure. And once again, Mensah Suljovic delivers. He's down to a finish where he'd only need one treble to get a dart at the double, but John Michael unable to find the 51. That's a great setup shot. It would be typical Mensah to take this out and just slam the door in his face.
Yeah, lovely darts from John Michael. Good mathematics. Had to go for the 161. Second best is to leave it. Now that's awkward. But
56.
John Michael has another chance to get himself on the board.
Oh,
First time at double 12 is
Eight
all he
shots in the fifth
requires.
leg, John Michael.
And it is a break back. So John Michael,
Sixth leg, John to throw
having
first.
dished out a
Game
6-0 whitewash to Fabian Hertz in the opening round. He's not going to be whitewashed himself, but with that break, hold his throw here, 4-2. Suddenly doesn't look that bad.
100.
Now, John Michael's been around a bit, hasn't he? He's played Lakeside, he's played European Championships, European Tours, different types of tournaments around Europe and the world. When you've done that, you've probably seen a lot of different situations.
109.
He's seen a few 180s from Mensah already. Yeah, but John Michael, he's probably seen it all. And you can't get too disheartened when you're 4-0 down. You've got to think to yourself, right, Suljovic has been the better player up till now, but the game's not over. I could be the best player for the next 6 legs. I could potentially win this 6-4.
Well, he's still averaging 94, and had he just, been a bit more clinical on his finishing, then this would be a very different looking game right now. But as you say, experience has got to count for something. I mean, probably when you started playing competitive darts, you must have found yourself in situations where you'd panicked a bit. You didn't know how to
95.
deal with a situation where you were trailing a lot, or maybe even if you were a long way in the lead and just getting over the line became a problem. I think we saw that with Stefan Stoiker, just about managing to win his first game on a big stage here.
Well, the example I can give you of that is that the first time I ever played Russell Stewart in Australia,
140.
I can't remember the score in the game. I know I got beat because I was too busy thinking to myself, I can't believe I'm playing Russell Stewart. That was one of those situations where I played one of my heroes and said, right, okay, you can have this one, but next time I play, I'm going to beat you. And I did.
Paul Nicholson there, a man who made a habit of annoying the legends of the game. Even he could be overawed. Mensur Suljovic isn't though. 99 checkout, misses double 16.
John, you require 106.
Well, we have a name for a 99 finish in Australia. It's called the Daff Flanagan. I'll tell you about that later. 106 for John Michael. Not to be on this occasion. So Suljovic is coming back for double 16 for a very,
32.
very tidy 13 darter. But he'll take a 15 for sure, as long as he's coming back with 5-1 in his pocket.
Jiggle of the dart from Mensur
shots in the
Suljovic, and he finds the target, and it is 5-1.
Seventh leg, Mensur to throw
Throwing
first.
for a place in the last 16, Mensur.
I heard lately from another broadcaster that when you break someone, like Mensur did there, what you want to do is walk straight back down the ocky
177.
and let your opponent know, oh, I just broke you. I think I'm going to throw first next. And that's kind of exactly what Mensur did there. And look at what he did when he came back. A perfect 177.
45.
And does that just... 45, is it a complete coincidence that John Michael threw a 45 after Mensur's just broken him convincingly, smashed a 177 in to start what could be the last leg of the match? John Michael.
140.
The writing may be on the wall for the Deadly Rose.
We were talking about walking straight back down the ocky. There's a couple of players that come to mind that when we used to do that, the opponent would then stand quite close to the ocky, so you had to almost go around him to have your own room. Peter Manley used to do that.
Oh, yeah, well.
And Kevin Painter used to do it, and it was an imposing thing. But again, experience.
134.
You would just handle that. But the first time it happens to you, you think, well, is he trying to tick me off here? But I tell you what, bullseye left after 9.
He's a former soft hit world champ. Just go for it. 10 darter.
Well, Royden Lamb's done it before.
Oh, boo.
He's not even going to leave double 14 in this match. 6-1 to Suljovic. No double 14s whatsoever, folks. And I can't remember the last time we said that.
Mensur Suljovic, that is a very, very impressive display. 11 darter to finish, pushes the average right up to 103.5. That is as good as we've seen this weekend. And Mensur Suljovic is here to play some proper darts. He is superb on the European Tour. A lot of those semi-final appearances on Euro Tour stages. Would you bet against him doing the same here this weekend? Well, we'll find out tomorrow, because he has got a tantalising match with Darryl Gurney in the last 16 as they fight it out for a place in the quarterfinals. We've got 2 more games to come for you this afternoon. Michael Smith and James Richardson will round things off, but first it's the Diamond, Ian White, against Big Devon, Dancing Devon Peterson.
So, und nochmal einen Applaus für John Michael. Lasst mich ruhig hier stehen, ist schon in Ordnung. Menzo, lass dir Zeit, lass dir Zeit. Gratuliere. 6-1 mit einem 100er Average in etwa. Richtig guter Start in das Turnier.
Ja, das war ein sehr gutes Spiel von mir. Der Michael oder Gott sei Dank die Doppel verpasst und ich war immer da zur Stelle und ich habe nie aufgegeben. Er hat gut gestartet, sofort mit 180, aber ich war immer da mit 100, 140, das ist mein Spiel. Ich schaue nicht auf die 180, ich schaue auf mein Spiel.
Es ist irgendwie ein Match, das in das Bild von dir passt in diesem Jahr. Du bist jetzt Top 16. Das war ein großes Ziel von dir, dahin zu kommen. Als Nummer 16 hast du es geschafft. Das ist ein großer Erfolg.
Korrekt, wir zwei haben alles mitgemacht, das weißt du selber. Und das ist mein großes Ziel. Und ich danke dir, danke Werner, danke alle, was mitgemacht haben. Und mein Ziel ist in Führung gegangen, Gott sei Dank.
Wie geht es jetzt weiter? Denkst du sofort, ich muss Top 10 schaffen? Ist das dein nächstes Ziel oder heißt es erst jetzt mal diese Position auch verteidigen?
Ja, korrekt. Ich habe mit meinem Sponsor, mit Hermann Stinz, habe ich geredet. Mein Ziel ist jetzt Top 10 und er steht hinter mir, Gott sei Dank. Und ich hoffe, bin ich bald dabei, aber es wird sehr, sehr schwierig.
Sehr gut. Wir sehen dich morgen wieder. Toller Auftritt von The Gentleman Suljovic.
Ich möchte mich noch einmal bedanken beim Publikum.